Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Shantae Nicole podcast. And this video is messy, so buckle up. If you're familiar with my content, I've only been on social media officially for 2 years now, right? And the Nicole Channel 23 is 2 years old. And then a couple of months ago, I started the Shantae Nicole podcast. So, welcome. Happy to have you. And if you're familiar with my content, I started off by making videos about my mom and all the stuff she was putting me through with children's services and my son, and what it was like to be a single mother and co-parent with my son's dad being in prison for 14 years, and now being an empty nester, having a grown son, and him having this beautiful relationship with his dad. So I just wanted to give you a quick update. My son said something to me that was very beautiful, because success takes time. We live in a world where we think everything is a microwave, but sometimes you gotta let things marinate. And so when my son's dad finally got out of prison and they could finally have a relationship outside of the cafeteria, even with all the unnecessary drama and chaos that my mom was causing, he thanked me. And he thanked me for allowing him to know his dad, even from a jail cell. And I want to say this because I love my single mothers. I was raised by a single mother, and I used to be a single mother, right? So I understand what being tired feels like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. And I understand that some women are married or have, living boyfriends or fiancés, and they feel like a single mother, right? Because they have to wear so many hats, right? And so it's the decisions that I make. It's the things that I've said yes to, and it's the things I said no to. And very early on, because some people don't want to see you happy if it's not with them, right? It just is what it is. And so very early on, I gave my son's dad a DNA test when my son was like 2 weeks old. And I wanted to give him the DNA test as soon as I popped the kid out, but he could be petty. He didn't want the DNA test. I mean, he knew it was his kid, but there's nothing like 99.99. And the blessing of that DNA test is that it holds him accountable. Other people hold him accountable. I'm extremely grateful to his dad and his dad's side of the family for giving me breaks. And I want to volunteer information. I hope and pray that this message is a blessing to you. I've never micromanaged my son's dad with our son. Like, I've never even called and check up on him. I mean, to be honest, he unfortunately caught the case when our son was 6 months old and went to prison when our son was 2. So he pretty much spent my son's entire life in prison. But before he went to prison and when he got out, I've never micromanaged him. I've never, told him who he could or couldn't be around. I've never stopped him from knowing both sides of the family. Like, pretty much every single time my son has spent time with his dad or his dad's side of the family, I'm not even there, right? I treat co-parenting like a business. It's just black and white. There is no gray. And I want to volunteer this information because sometimes the reason why I volunteer, conversations about therapy is because you have every right to feel how you want to feel. Your feelings, your emotions, you're entitled to that. But it's not a good idea to live there. Sometimes you got to run even your personal relationships as a business, and it's like, what is the best interest of the child? And if the best interest of the child is to give the child something that me and his dad didn't have, which I don't know my dad, and his dad doesn't know his dad, you always want more for your kid, right? And so it's important to give them the opportunity to spend quality time with both sides. And the reason why I love Jesus Christ is because oftentimes, we live in a world where people put so much emphasis on money and houses and cars, and there's nothing wrong with money and houses and cars. I come from a military family, and my mom did over 20 years, so I was raised in the suburbs, right? And I had a good childhood, but I'm grateful to Jesus for things that money can't buy. When you make a decision 18 years ago and then it comes back to bless you, that's what I'm grateful for. Sometimes people have never been in your shoes, so even though they want to give you advice, sometimes they can't, And I had to make a decision when I got pregnant with my son, regardless if we were together or not. What is the end goal? You want him to know both sides. You want his father to be in his life. How can we get to this finish line? And that's how you get your peace of mind. That's how you get your break. That's how you get your help without government assistance, right? Because nobody's going to have your back like family. Nobody's going to be there for you like family. And family doesn't even always have to be blood related, right? It could be beautiful people that come into your life and stay in your life for every season. But I wanted to volunteer this information because, unfortunately, they are tightening up on assistance. They are cutting back. They are denying people, or they are putting limitations on things, right? And so the easiest way to free up your mind is don't try to control everything. Just do the DNA test, proof of purchase. Don't micromanage. You're going to have different parenting styles. You're not going to see eye to eye on everything. But some people are better fathers than they are boyfriends, husbands, fiancés. They could be a really good father, but just not be good for you. And the child has the right to know both sides. And even if the dad is a little messed up, let the child see it for themselves, Kevin Hart turned out really good. He's extremely talented. He's very successful. He's a great father. And his dad was on drugs, but he had a beautiful mother who understood the importance of it takes a man to raise a man. So I hope and pray that this message has been a blessing to you. God bless you. Jesus Christ loves you. Bye.